3 things in life that aren't worth the effort. To be more effective and cheerful, cut the waste and harming exercises from your life. By its actual definition, a squandered exertion alludes to things we invest time and energy on which might have been exceptional sent somewhere else. It is a chance expense. Through its reverse, bypassing shameful things sets aside you time and cash, and furthermore huge affliction and difficulty. The shortfall of negative powers welcomes satisfaction into your life. Our lives are loaded with squander. I've lost whole Saturdays going down dumb wormholes. Be that as it may, just a day was lost. The cost can be such a great deal higher in the event that we don't sufficiently police our conduct. Internet tensions are a vacuum of your time. A half-year prior, a companion declared on her Facebook channel, on the off chance that you plan on deciding in favor of Biden, unfriend me now. Sometime later, she sprung up in a remark segment, contending with individuals about political race-related issues. Each remark got more destructive and individual than the following. We live in the key swing province of Florida, where pressures are especially intense during races. With her, and others, I've seen the disintegration of fellowships that went a long way past tapping the unfriend button. John Stuart Mill, one of the dads of present-day utilitarianism, contended, insofar as an assessment is emphatically established in the sentiments, it gains instead of loses soundness by having a preponderating load of contention against it. The Plant was an advocate of building feelings exclusively on realities. He saw, 100 years ahead of schedule, the vanity of web contentions. Our reasonings are hazardously troubled by our feelings and feeling of personality. I still can't seem to see a web contention end with 2 individuals saying, "Fantastic. I'm happy we had this conversation." We adapted to such an extent. I made a standard when I started composing on the web, no web contentions. The veil of in disguise is a foe of common talk. I divert that energy to different things. Is it truly worth going as the day progressed, furious about what an outsider said to you on the web? They say the lottery is a duty on individuals who can't figure it out. I would say contending on the web is an expense on individuals who don't esteem their time. Personal relationships becoming a black hole. Nearly a decade ago, I was sitting on a couch in a marriage counselor's office. As one could assume, I was going through an exceptionally troublesome time. My advisor was talking with me independently without my accomplice. I think he'd become burnt out on me waving my hands around, rationalizing every one of the awful signs in our relationship, why I figured we could fix things. He said, "Let me reveal to you something. At the point when somebody says they need to leave, everything you can manage is hold your hands up and wish them good luck." It might seem like a ridiculous thing for a PhD in marriage and family therapy to say. But he'd detected a power imbalance between us. I was clawing to save a relationship the other person didn't want to be in. It was projecting me as a low-value person. And more importantly, it was delaying the obvious inevitability of my divorce. Sometimes it's a relationship counselor's job to identify a doomed partnership. Eventually, the instructor was on the imprint. Great relationships don't generally end. Separation is unpleasant and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. However, there came a day, numerous months after the fact, when the sun was sparkling, the sky was clear. I felt alive and new in a manner I hadn't felt in an exceptionally significant time frame. I thought back through time with inquisitive interest, asking why I made a decent attempt to save things. We become so accustomed to undesirable circumstances that we quit seeing the poisonousness. At the point when that circumstance at long last begins to disappear, as it ought to, we rake the ground as opposed to celebrate. It's practically similar to a medication pull-out. We ought to be cheerful we are stopping. In any case, there we are, tingling for a greater amount of the toxic substance. At the point when an individual, explicitly, says they need to leave, let them. When relationships are organic and natural, they have their own sort of gravity. They stay without too much effort. Passion is the source of very long-term problems. You would be shocked by how many partners, who I'd only just started hooking up with, urged me not to wear protection. We'd had no conversation around contraceptives or testing. They just didn't like the feel of it. Furthermore, look, I'm not this symbol of amazing well-being conduct. I've recently been fortunate to get terrified straight a couple of times without outcomes. I've had my frightening excursion to the facility, staying there going through a world of fond memories, pondering, what was I thinking? We ought to have shut this part after 8th grade sex ed class. The pace of unintended pregnancies keeps on floating around half in the United States. I once sat in the parking garage, feeling anxious about purchasing condoms, and acknowledged, in case I'm not full grown enough to get them, I shouldn't engage in sexual relations in any case. I would rather not utilize the word issue while referring to a kid, yet unintended pregnancies make other undesirable issues that last far longer than you understand. You are unexpectedly co-nurturing with somebody you can't stand. You have childcare expenses, food, and hoard sudden things to oversee. Each part of your life is essentially changed in light of the fact that you didn't burn through $5 on security. After my separation, I was staggered by the quantity of single guardians on dating applications. It might feel good at the moment to break the rules. But mark my words, there's a sinking feeling that comes later on. Be willing to say no when it is most difficult. To send these methodologies most successfully, ask yourself this avowing inquiry: am I going to be content with this choice hours, days, months from now? It was that very question that finally got me to quit smoking. I knew I'd never look back decades later and wish I'd smoked just a little longer. Life is full of wasteful activities. Avoid them and you will be ahead of the pack. A new video every day. Don't forget to like the video and follow the channel.